Hello and welcome to this video where we come into regularization, and this is a way to make a complex model more simple. In the previous lectures we talked about overfitting and underfitting and bias variance trade-offs, that you want to find a sweet spot. You want to find a model that is not too complex to overfit and not too simple to underfit. When you have a too complex model, what can you do? This is where this theory lecture comes in, where we'll talk about regularization. Here we'll talk about theory and intuition about how this works. And I won't go into too much mathematics. Instead, we'll go into more practical parts later on in another video. Let's move on to the slides. When your model is too complex, you can regularize it to make it simpler. Many features leads to many parameters, which makes the model too complex. Here we have several features, x1, x2, blah, 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 xn. This could be, for example, if we're talking about prediction of a price, we could have the product, what types of features, for example, which category it is in, which year, etc. And which store, which location. We have a lot of different features that can be used. Each column is a feature. This is a matrix. And when I write it like this, it means that, here are just different values in the x1. Okay. Many features, it leads to model has many parameters. Why is that? Because we have w1, x1, w0 plus w1, x1 plus w2, x2, blah, 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 plus wn, xn, if we're talking about multiple linear regression. However, no matter what the model you use, still have a lot of parameters, because these are the parameters that you're training, basically. You're training the parameters that it can be used to predict new values based on new data that comes in. Okay, we have many parameters, looks like this. You have here y. To get the label y, or the prediction, is w0 plus w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus blah 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 wn xn. Here all the w's are the parameters. This means that there's a risk for something called multicollinearity. And multicollinearity means that we get some redundancy in features. Some features, they say basically the same thing. And we get inaccurate estimate of wi when we have multicollinearity, when the different features depend on each other. This can lead to overfitting. And when we have overfitting, we have a complex model. We want to decrease the variance and increase the bias. This is what we want, because when we're increasing the bias, we make the model simpler, and we decrease the variance. We make the model simpler. What we can do is that we add a penalty to decrease the role of parameters other than the bias. We want the bias to be, okay, note that the bias is the W0. We want the bias to become more stronger, right? So it plays a bigger role, while we want all other parameters to be weaker. That is the idea. There's something called L2 regularization. What it does mean is that we have lambda, a larger lambda. It means that we get less variance and higher bias. This is a hyperparameter that we tune in order to make the variance decrease and the bias increase. We give penalty, we make the model simpler, basically. This is the penalty parameter. And here we have lambda is between 0 and 1. And note that, of course, in different machine learning libraries, they have implemented this lambda in different ways. And in Learn, they have a parameter called C. You should look into documentation and see exactly what it means before you use it. Here, but in theory, we use lambda. Here, for larger lambda, it means that wi will be close to 0 when I is larger than or equals to 1. Note that this means that the model becomes simpler, because the wi's, a lot of them will be close to 0. Ridge regression makes some of them close to 0, but not exactly 0. This is quite important. And there's an equation to show how this works, but we won't go far. However, there's another one called Lasso regression, L1 regularization, and here we also increase the lambda and will decrease the variance and increase the bias, make the model simpler. And from Lasso, it's also 0 to 1. And here is that for larger lambda, the least important features are set to exactly 0 in contrast to ridge regression, where they don't get to 0. They come close to 0. And you can think of Lasso as you throw the lasso and you make some of them 0, the least important features. Note that the features become the parameters wi that is not w0 becomes 0, because when it becomes 0, the features disappear because we have multiplication there. And then there is a trade-off that's called elastic net that uses both of them, combines L1 and L2. And the hyperparameters here is lambda for penalty and alpha for L1 ratio. How much L1 do we want to have in this one? Because L1 is here, last regression. How much L1 do we want? And how much penalty do we want? This is a combination of these two. And here, alpha is also between 0 and 1, because in 1, then we have only L1, and 0, then we have only L2, and then some alpha in between, then we have combination of these two. Okay, regularization models, they require feature scaling. That's important. The models are trained using a numerical approach, such as something called gradient descent. This means that it's an iterative process to find a minimum of the errors. That's the idea. It requires feature scaling, because if features are too big or too small, then it will not find the minimum in a correct way. For example, the feature scaling is like feature standardization or normalization, which we have gone through in previous coding lectures. And then to find the hyperparameter, for example, lambda and alpha, how do we do that? There's something called k-fold cross-validation. This means that you have train, test, and val data. You divide it into training, test, and validation. And what you do is that you train with different hyperparameters, and you predict and evaluate on the validation data. You evaluate on the validation data. And then you choose new values on the hyperparameters and repeat 1 and 2. You choose another value of hyperparameter. For example, we started with alpha equals 0, and then we start with, then we do alpha equals 0.1, and then we train with that hyperparameter and predict on that and evaluate on that. And then we choose the value on the hyperparameter that gave the least validation error. We keep track of the validation error and we choose the hyperparameter which gave us the smallest one. And 5, we train and validation dataset with that hyperparameter. Here we train on all the training and validation, and then we evaluate on the test set. This is the k-fold cross-validation. In scikit-learn, you will see something called CV, and then you know it's cross-validation. Here, to see it in figure, we have like train, that is this part, and then we have validation as one part. And then you change the validation to another part. The test part we don't touch yet. Here you train on all these white, and the black one is validated on. And then you change the hyperparameter again and again until you reach the end, and you have another here validation here, and you train on these ones. And what you do is that this is 5-fold cross-validation, and you compute the mean error. For small data sets, we utilizes the data very well because we reuse the data basically to hyperparameter tune. Data is quite expensive if it's expensive to collect data. For larger, it costs as we repeat the training k time. When it costs, I mean that it costs in training time. Then you need to be a little bit strategic how to use your training. Okay, in this video we have gone through regularization to make a complex model more simple, and we've gone through the theory behind it, and I hope you got some intuition as well. And then we've gone into k-fold cross-validation to choose the hyperparameter, because you need to tune the hyperparameters, it's called. That it's hyperparameters that you choose based on the error metric. You want to get as low error metrics on the validation data as possible, and then you choose that hyperparameter. Cross-validation, what you do is that you repeat this process several times and get a mean error, that it becomes more robust, and you use the data set. But to make sure that know that it costs a lot to do this when you have larger data sets. Yes, and thank you for watching this video, and hope that you learned a lot, and see you in the next one. Bye.